All of us have our favorite lines in sacred scripture. I think I've given this one before, as you see on your screens, as one of my favorite lines from the book of Proverbs. Where there is no vision, the people perish. A vision or a goal given by God, which even in the face of difficulties, struggles, persecutions, we go ahead, growing in fortitude, growing in holiness. I celebrated my first Mass on the altar of St. Francis Cabrini in New York City. Her body lies there, and this nun was absolutely amazing. She was tiny in stature. She was tiny. That gives me a lot of consolation. And as a young girl, she fell into a pool of water back in Italy, which made her terrified of water. But just then imagine that when she announced to Pope Leo XIII her desire to go to the missions in China, because she could go overland to China, what did the Pope say to her? Not to the east, but to the west. What did that mean? Crossing the Atlantic. Water. And that little nun, who was terrified of water, obeyed. In fact, in her lifetime, she made 24 trips across the Atlantic by ship, each one taking 12 days, often in terrible conditions. And if you just imagine all the obstacles she faced, when she arrived in New York City, assured that the Archbishop would welcome her after a winter journey, you know what he said to her, the first thing? What are you doing here? I told you not to come at this time. The letter had not reached her. Beautiful welcome, eh? The Archbishop of New York. Perseverance based on confidence in God's call. Where there is no vision, the people perish. How true for Francis and Clare. Clare had that vision to follow in the footsteps of Francis, and nothing could stop her. It's just an amazing story. She had planned on following Francis for a whole year. And then on Palm Sunday night, there's huge crowds outside San Rufino. I was there last week with Archbishop Sorrentino. I'm not sure if he's on with us today. I know he'd like to be. He sends you his blessings. Very busy at this time. But there are huge crowds outside San Rufino. And you know what she does? She escapes through the back door of her house to go down to Santa Maria degli Angeli. This is the picture, actually. I think I took this, Deb. Is that correct?
That's
I took
correct.
the photo just last week. And this is the front door of her house. And you can actually see on the stone outside the house in Italian, this is the place where Saint Clare was born and passed and spent the first years of her youth. And so it is that on that Palm Sunday night, she goes down to the Porzincula in Santa Maria degli Angeli. She's accompanied by friars who meet her with lanterns. It's beautiful scriptural passage, remember? The bride coming down, and who does she meet there? She meets Francis, and he begins to cut the beautiful blonde locks of her hair. And then, after spending some time in a little town called Bastia, and then a little bit of time in another place on Mount Subiasso, she enters San Damiano, the convent there. And she never leaves there. It's absolutely incredible. She only comes out of San Damiano, the convent there, one time to meet Francis. One time. And for half her life, she suffered from a mysterious illness that deprived her of physical strength, that would finally leave her bedridden, almost blind, becoming an invalid. Perseverance is the point I'm making. Without a vision, the people perish. But Clare had that vision, and nothing would stop her. holiness through the struggle.
Hi, are you ready to get back together with people and talk about our faith? Think about joining us on an Inside the Vatican pilgrimage. Go to InsideTheVaticanPilgrimages.com and see all our latest pilgrimages. Come join us on pilgrimage.